Hi everyone, welcome back to Falcon's House. We finally had the big battle that everybody has been waiting for. The first thing about the episode is how dark they shot it. It was fairly hard to pick out details in the battle scenes, and this was on purpose to show the chaos of battle. Here are some quick clips of the episode. The effect they used with Melisandre lighting up the Dothraki swords was a great visual effect, though I don't think the Dothraki should have charged straight at the undead and they ultimately got wiped out. I would have held them off at the sides and tried to create a funnel of undead and then circled them and then kill off a manageable number, kind of like what the Boltons were trying to do with the Battle of the Bastards. Once the Dothraki are dead, this sends Dany off to break the plan of waiting for the Night King. And she starts off, and then Jon ends up going after her with the dragons, and they start burning the dead until the fog of ice shows up and they can't see and stop being able to attack. But I didn't really like the dragon portions of this episode in general. They were kind of it was really hard to see exactly what was going on. And even when you could see what was going on, the special effects were not amazing. I feel like they've tried to show dragons a lot more in this season, and it really has just been kind of a waste. As everyone starts retreating into Winterfell and the Unsullied just stand there and hold the enemy, it shows how tough they are. Melisandre struggles to light the trench and block the advance almost as if the Lord of Light is not helping anymore. But ultimately she's able to, so it was just kind of a fake-out kind of attempt that they ended up doing. Arya shows how good of a fighter she is by killing off a ton of the whites, and then how well she can sneak through the room full of them once she gets knocked out and has to run away. They still end up chasing her, and some of the best camera work of the episode, which shows this claustrophobic, tight tunnel as she's running through the corridors of Winterfell, waiting as they're right behind her. Eventually they catch her, and she is saved by Beric and the Hound. Beric is finally allowed to die, and saving her in this battle was what the Lord of Light has been protecting him from for this whole time. Which is both underwhelming and fitting at the same time. You expected a lot more out of it, but this is the kind of tricks that they've thrown at us the whole time with this show, with not expecting the expected. But it does show that the Lord of Light has a lot of power, that he's able to see the future to the point where, he can say, well, this one specific instance is all we really need him for. He has to survive that far in order to be able to save her, to stop the Night King, is a big challenge. And Beric has this Jesus effect as he's holding onto the walls of Winterfell trying to hold them off. Back outside, Dany and Jon have a dragon battle with the Night King and are able to knock him off of his dragon. Jon crash lands and chases him. Dany tries to burn the Night King with fire and nothing happens. Could he be a Targaryen? Or is it just because he is so cold he is putting out the fire before it touches him? Jon gets close to him, but the fact that Jon didn't exactly sneak up on the Night King causes him to turn around and raise the dead of all the Winterfell soldiers that had been fighting against him previously in order for Jon to not be able to get to him. The dead Starks and the Crypts also come out and start attacking people in there, creating a lot of fear and some great moments with Sansa and Tyrion. Earlier he had said that he was terrified. It was terrifying that he was the best one of her husbands. and they seem to have some level of reconciliation now. She says that his loyalties would have been split between her and the Dragon Queen. Missandei gets mad and says they would all be dead if not for the Dragon Queen, which in some ways is true, but on the other hand, the Night King wouldn't have gotten a dragon to burn down the wall if it wasn't for her either. Jon and everybody would have just died north of the wall, which might have still prevented the Night King from coming south. But who knows, I don't know if this is like a 1 in a million outcome, or if most of the time they're able to defeat the Night King, and there's some sort of cycle to all this. Melisandre reminds Arya that she was told that she would kill brown eyes, green eyes, and blue eyes. And Arya runs off. And that was a big hint as to what would happen. Well, the score of the final battle scene was great, and it felt a lot like the Westworld score, and is done by the same composer. Theon's last stand is supposed to redeem him as a person, and Bran tells him that he's a good man. I don't know if this was enough to redeem him in my eyes. It is the same Charlie and Lost scenario. The sacrifice doesn't make up for everything that you've done previously, and I still think he did a lot of bad things. It doesn't quite make up for and him doing this doesn't make up for all that, especially since everybody else mostly died anyway. It wasn't like he did something heroic. He didn't save Bran, really. Maybe he delayed the Night King 30 seconds for Arya to show up. Arya runs up and saves the day, and somehow, because of her Faceless Man training, is invisible to the other White Walkers and is able to get to the Night King and stab him after dropping the knife and switching hands with the blade. I think it is fine that she killed him, but the whole thing was kind of a waste. They spent years building up the Night King, and then he gets taken out by a dagger, and we didn't really learn anything about him. And the rest of the White Walkers, they're kind of just wasted. They've been built up since the first episode as the scariest thing that could exist in the world. And here we are with 3 episodes left, and they're already defeated, and all we have to worry about is Cersei now. And in comparison, while she has more forces, she is nothing against him. She doesn't have hordes of undead, her people can be turned, all that kind of stuff. I also think that they should have had the White Walkers do more in the episode instead of just stand around. They should have had them fight, and then have the people with Valyrian steel swords actually defeat some of them, and cause groups of whites to disappear, and maybe save somebody else in the process. There's so much more they could have done with that. The other big problem with this episode was that almost everyone survived. Even when they started on the front lines or being attacked, they kept escaping and fighting back. Sam got overrun multiple times, and somehow he's not dead. It was just kind of ridiculous how thick the plot armor has gotten. When early in the show, you did something stupid, you paid the price for it. Now it's it doesn't really matter. We need everybody alive to the last episode, so we're going to do that. They'll now spend a few episodes to kill Cersei and then wrap up. I thought this show was going to be my #1 show of all time, and I'm not really sure that's going to happen anymore. It's not that this season has been bad, it's just been average. And The Sopranos definitely ended a lot stronger in my opinion, and that's still going to be my #1 show. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe.